Welcome to another session on productivity series. This is a productivity series webinar for mothers who want to, make use of their time effectively and save a lot of time to do other stuff. Sometimes we think we have been productive because we are able to complete our task. Is that enough? Are you satisfied? Are you happy the way you have progressed? Hi, may I know who's this? Okay, Redmi, can you change the profile name or speak up so we will know who is this? We want to make sure that we're all from the same community, women only. We don't know, we might speak something which may be contradicting to men code of honor.
Hello.
Yeah, who is this?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Madhusmita. I am from the group in that you had sent a link to join this WhatsApp group.
What's your name, you said?
Madhusmita.
Madhu. Great, Madhu. Super. You are
Hi.
from which part of USA?
I am from Bangalore, India. I'm comfortable with this.
Great. Super. All right. So usually we start with code of honor and all that. Code of honor is very important. But before that, I have given enough details about how this program is structured and all that. It may be repetitive for certain people, but then it is important to reestablish, especially people like Madhumita, a few people who will join at the later point of time. You can stay muted, and whenever you want to talk, you want to ask questions, you want to interrupt in terms of clarifying, you can always unmute and speak. But quickly, because we're already 10 minutes away from what we wanted to start with, what will you get? You'll get continuous learning for next 52 weeks or even beyond. And we have peer learning because we have a lot of people joining in from across India, across USA. In few topics, we will also go out for a breakout room, depending on the size of the people who join in. Otherwise, we'll leave the entire, for example, right now we have 4 people. So we will have that 4 people interactions whenever this is needed without the breakout rooms. And you will always have a peer learning, sharing and everything. But this program is structured in a way, the series, productivity series for mothers is structured in a way. In fact, I would say any learning has to be starting from awareness, because awareness is something that comes from within. And awareness can also be from others, okay? Information is different from awareness. Information is overloaded in Google. You might as well want to pick up these topics in Google. But the thing is, it's not structured. The only difference between a community program like this or a webinar or a live experiential program, they have a different impact on the audience, on your learning process. You'll be able to resonate with a lot of people, especially with this community learning. You'll have an advantage of people who wants to share, and then you will see, oh yeah, I resonate with this. So I'm able to connect more. And I take multiple perspectives from all of you. This is my learning here. Although I initiate this course, this is part of my mission. I'm a passionate learner, I'm a passionate trainer and a teacher. So this will anyway continue for me. But the added advantage is I learn from you too. So this is a peer learning, and this has to be structured in a way that we create the awareness first. Any topic you take, what kind of insight that you're getting? What is the definition from you? What is the definition from outside the world, in the Google, in the research, and what is happening with different profile of mothers? They could carry different experience. They could carry their own journey as their definition. And then we move to, after once you have a right kind of information, right kind of awareness around you about the topic, then we move to take better choices. Every day we tend to make close to about 3,000 to 30,000 choices in a day. I'm not exaggerating, but I'm saying if you are cleanly laser focused to watch yourself, starting from the day, starting from your bed, what to-do list we have in our phones, what kind of messages should we see the messages, what kind of coffee you would like to have, whether it is sugar, without sugar, is it a tea or a coffee, what kind of dress you want to wear, which route would you want to take, what is the priority today? Starting from that, as a mother, we're also deciding for our children, right, until they grow up. And sometimes for even our spouse, there are a lot of variety of decisions that we are taking in different dimensions of life. So if you have the right kind of information, the right kind of awareness about anything you want to do, then your choices is going to be really informed. And it will definitely help you take better, day-to-day decisions and also long-term decisions, right? Once you get this pattern of taking better choices in your life, then eventually, with the right kind of awareness, the right kind of decision making, you will eventually have your results, desired results coming onto you. Suppose you're working the other way around. Imagine you know your results and you're banging on your head that you're not able to find out the results. What is the missing element? You're aware that you want to go this place. When you get into your cab, you know the destination. But then have you taken the right kind of, the timing is correct? Is it a good time to travel? Is it the good transportation that you are taking across? Is it a place that you really want to go? All these elements are missing before you want to reach that destination. I'm sure for any topic you want to learn as a learner, it is important there is a step-by-step learning. Otherwise, it's very easy for me to just give you a mind map or just give you the recording and then, you know what, this is what I taught you guys today. And then you go, we don't even know how many kind of recordings that you are filled with. I have done that mistake, okay? I have an external drive specifically dedicated for those recordings, which, can I have a recording, please? All that I've also done. It is very important that learning has to be structured and it has to be present. And if there is an emergency or if there is any serious reasons that you're not able to, you can always, I do watch recordings, but I have come to that stage that there is a discipline in me that when I watch a recording, I really concentrate. I don't do multiple tasks. And then I do definitely do that also when I have a, time pressing task, I do put the headphones and keep listening and also cooking. We can do all that. But when it is a deep learning, there is a difference between shallow learning and deep learning, which will, we will see that eventually in next topics. So this is very important that you need to form a structure to it. Now, awareness, skills, and direction. In this self-development, we're going to see definitions, mistakes, myth, advantage, disadvantages with some styles, personalities, theories, and science backup. Because without some logic, emotionally, we cannot all the time approach a particular topic. Only with emotion, like passion, emotion, energy, you'll fizzle out. You need some logic. That's why In EQ, we always say use the left brain and right brain to an equilibrium. You bring that. EQ is always in the middle. You bring both. You work on both together, contributing enough equally together all the time. And what kind of skills that you will do? You will get to learn successful habits. What is present in those successful people in the industries? You will also have some hacks and techniques discussed here. We'll go deep dive into it. The best part is you will also have a direction. What kind of goal that you can set? If you know your personality, in the initial calls we saw productive personalities. Like, are you productivity obsessive, selfish productivity, and we also saw quantity productivity. We saw a couple of personalities, right? You may have assessed what kind of person you are, and thereby matching that, you may have a goal, whether it is a work goal, family goal, personal goal, health goal, anything you want to name. At least you have a goal right now to assess where you want to go. If not, it's okay. We will do that exercise as well. And you will find an expert tips book review. Yes, for every topic, we have I've summarized certain books related to that particular topic. We'll quickly have a review on the call. Okay. And then we will synergize to understand how all the dots connect. Okay. How can you make use of this? Please participate, learn and reflect after the session. Apply that, at least one concept. You take just one concept and apply that and try to improve that concept. If you have not heard about this one thing concept or compounding effect, we will also learn that as part of productivity. Okay. Just take 1% improvement in life every day. It will definitely have a compounding effect. You can start doing this from right after this call. Take one concept and apply that into either work or life in general, and try to see that you maintain the consistency. For example, I've seen Pooja and Anita attending this call. Every now and then, it's fine. I mean, this is our 5th call, but then they have come to a habit of consistency. So consistency is nothing but a certain discipline. Discipline can be on various other dimensions of life. But once you have that hack of putting anything into a habit, right, it becomes a discipline by itself. Improve that. And you can use it for career enhancement or getting ready for a career or life in general. Mothers need more time management skills, like, more than anybody else. That's what it's my experience, because we're handling so many things around us, so many people, so many situations. Country is new. People from India have their own difficulties, but people over here, they have their own difficulties too. So, but as an Indian and living in America, we have seen both the countries' difficulties. It is even more in a different dynamics, right? What transformation can you get? You can use all these skills to, build better focus in you and great personality. Have you noticed that when you attend this call, when you have this learning hour as part of your, see, in US, we don't have an exposure of, unlike in India, that we have a training slated and then we go and attend, of course, leaving the pandemic time. But if there is a learning hour in a day, every day, you will see, not only you get wiser, you will also be able to reflect in your behavior. Your children are watching you. Your spouse will watch you. I'm sure I have reached that stage that if I say there is a call, even my own kid will say, okay, have you taken the water enough? Have you had this thing? Right now she's coming and checking if the settings is all correct. So this develops a different esteem in your family. Know your strength. Of course, when you learn this, you will know, okay, do I have this in me? If don't, is it really supporting me? Have you seen this supporting others? Have they been able to churn out the results? Then why is it not working on me? Then you will know where is the area of improvement. If you know your strength, you may as well want to use that to improve the area of weaknesses in you. But if you do not know your strength at all, then you are in the dark forest. Right now, I would rather say, knowing your strength is self-awareness is the first step for any individual. It's okay, we have started late, it's fine. But for any concept, I'm saying, we may be introduced to a new project in your work environment. You may be 30 years, you may be 40 years, it's fine. When it is new, you always should be top of your self-awareness. Self-awareness has a lot of component, but knowing your strength and area of improvement in every aspect will help you handle anything in life. Okay. And then you're becoming a lifelong learner habitually. There's no pressure on you. If you continue to do this, you're learning the right stuff from right person is equally important. As a mother, I wouldn't want to waste my time learning from everybody. I always have this habit of sticking on to mentors and coaches in real time also, not just for my business, but choosing that kind of a person is difficult. But knowing your strength areas and also knowing your core values will definitely help you choose the right kind of person. I'm sure you will agree, vibes attract your tribes, right? It could be your own spouse, the tribe meaning group of people. It could be your own family. It could be your neighborhood or your close friends. You attract them because you are vibing in a different frequency. And so are they. Even in this community, people will stick. There is a rule that I've already spoken. It's called Pareto principle. Anybody would like to explain what is Pareto principle and how is it related to community? No problem. Pareto principle is 80-20 rule. So there is always 80 people of 100% and 20 people of 100%. That 80 people belongs to the common conformed, discipline in them, that they are part of the herd. Those 20 people are the cream, who will actually apply the learnings. And out of the 20 people, 20% of 20% are the movers and shakers, which is like 4%. They even call it as 1%. They go deep in the industry and they say 1% is those stars, like, Bezos or Elon Musk and those people who really have taken things to the different heights. Okay. So saving time and learning from right person, right stuff is equally important for mothers like us. Okay. Now, code of honor, quickly, what you have to do is show up. It's very important for you to build that consistency on time, participate, reflect, and pay forward. Pay some gratitude. That will take you to different heights every day. Whatever you learned it from your child, say a thank you. You learned it from your spouse, be generous and say a thank you. Initiate. You learned it here, go back to the group, you don't have to post it for anybody. At least for those people who would like to come back next time. Hey, you know what? I've been missing this. This person has learned this. I want to learn that. You could be a spark in somebody's life. You never know. You don't have to know actually. Indirectly, you can be a spark to anybody on your way. Okay, do that, as that will build a code of honor for you. Code of honor is certain value system that you want to build for your own self. You can also have a code of honor for your family, for your work. If you're working as a team, you can build a code of honor for your team. And if you're in a business, you're working on a remote or in person, you can build that for your business team as well. How to be productive? We started off saying toxic productivity. We saw different personality on productivities. We also saw mistakes. Now we're seeing what are the skills required for you to call yourself as productive person. Okay, in the next 1 hour, we will see. I'm honestly, I cannot cover everything at one shot, because there are some deep learning that we need to see. There are some shallow learning overview of certain things that we can always share. However, this kind of a live call is where you at least spend a few moments to assess yourself. Okay. Today, what we will do, we will see what is time management. How is it related to productivity as such? Even in time management, there are some awareness. See, you may see a lot of areas we think we are doing better in time management. Actually, time management is not managing time. It's only managing yourself. I would say the entire productivity series is all about how you want to manage your time. Okay. So that your goals, if you know your goals, if you manage yourself, you will be able to attain the goals or not. The same thing you may want to apply with others when you're dealing with situations and people around you. So what we will do is, we've seen the benefits and disadvantages at work, in family in general, and then we've seen many mistakes that we do. Okay. In short, we have seen that if you deny a problem that you have, then you do not arrive. So it's better to know. Again, we're talking about self-awareness. You should know that you have a problem in managing time. And then there is perfection syndrome. If you have, someone who have attended the recent calls, you will know perfection syndrome is one of the biggest culprit in all of us. It doesn't matter whether you're a woman or man. We always want something to, even when cooking, right? We get this pattern of cooking it, making sure that tasting all the time and all, even cleaning the desk or cleaning your space. You keep on cleaning. That's an obsessive syndrome, actually, because you want to make it perfect. You will not be able to, if you have gone into autopilot, then it is very difficult for you to come back. So it's better that you create that awareness. Whenever you're doing something, make sure that, are you doing this mistakes? Then immediately buckle off. Doing everything on your own, that is another pattern. Sometimes when we go out and we leave our kids or, kitchen or the house to the spouse, it's easy example for you to, resonate. We want them to be the way how we want to keep things. And we tend to call them, we check, once again, we'll come back home and then we check everything is in order or not. And sometimes we wouldn't be able to step out at all because we know that things will not be as per the order that we want to be. So that is another syndrome. Doing everything on your own, without delegating, without outsourcing, without automating, it is very critical. It is very difficult for that person to achieve. Okay. Multitasking, we saw enough on multitasking. There is actually no multitasking. It's a myth. The brain can only do a monotasking. We saw that science backup where the brain is actually designed to do one task at a time. That is when you will arrive at the focus. We saw a few examples where in real life, how do we really see this is happening in truth, right? And then underestimating time is also another thing. I have a live example in my own family. That is one reason that they are not able to be managing their time well. It is very important for decision making too. If you're not able to, leave the children out because they haven't come to the stage where they're conscious about time. I'm talking about adults, right? So it is very important to estimate that time, planning, and you should know your strength. Okay, will I be able to reach this place? Will I be able to complete this task based on your own abilities and also reading other people's ability? Because once you go out of your door, you are environmental dependent. So you need to be really aware of how much time is essential and how many parties are involved in it. There are many elements to it, but we saw this in the previous weeks. Never thinking about tomorrow is also another mistake. If you do not have a futuristic thinking, you will not. Your estimation on time is definitely going to be little haphazard because you may be running emergency errands sometimes, and you will end up in firefighting. Okay, saying yes to everything. That's another thing that we have to know. Learning to say no is also important. If you're a person who have been always yes and yes and yes, I would say it's yes and a no for you. Yes, it is important because if you are a person who wants to develop something in you, you can always go for yes. But if you want to achieve yes and no after the awareness, now I know the awareness of it, but now I want to achieve more is when you start eliminating a lot of tasks, a lot of transactions, a lot of people, a lot of situations in you. It's very important that time you need to know what is important and what is not important. Will I say yes or will I not say yes? Those bifurcation is something that you need to decide, and you should have the ability to say no very politely and gently. We don't want any enmity, but it should be like a habit in you. Okay, being busy all the time is not effective. Okay, having old operating system. I'm saying operating system is because after pandemic, everybody is pushed to change. Somebody who's not changed, even after pandemic, they should be definitely old, the 70s or 60s born. But people like us, the 80s born and 90s born, are very equipped. We're like lucid. We've seen the crisis. We're also seeing the future, right? The vision. So we are more of a flexible person. Do you agree? Any 80s and 90s born here? Do you see there is a difference between your way of approach than that of the new ones after the so-called millennials and your older generation? Do you see the difference? Are you happy, or do you think we also need a lot of the so-called futuristic skills or the old-time people's patience, resilience, and all that. This is the time that you can speak up, because I end up speaking to camera, and then we want to know whether we're all we're all in the game or not.
Yeah, so I think that I think we fall under millennials. So we should have, we are at the right, we are born at the right time, I think, because we have seen so much growth in technology. And also, I think that we need a lot of catching up too, because we have gone through this service-oriented mind all through. And to switch, for example, if you want to switch into entrepreneurship, there is a lot of skills that I lag behind. That's what I noticed in the past times. And my generations ahead, they're much more equipped with that, which our generation is not. So that I feel that catching up is something that I am struggling with. But at the same time, I do know a time without telephones, even telephones, forget mobiles, right? So we still have that kind of patience and happiness within ourselves in a time when there were no gadgets or anything.
Absolutely. Right?
Right. So that is also something which we are equipped with, which the other coming generations are not.
Very nice. Thank you, Priya. I was going to say a concept called growth mindset and fixed mindset. I can easily see, the way you respond. We always have a growth mindset, right? We want to grow. I mean, we never felt enough. We never felt we were right. But whereas the fixed mindset people, they still exist. Doesn't matter whether which part of the year, millennial, they are born. They are fixed. They wouldn't want to grow. So that is coming out of genetics. And that is coming out of a lot of culture in the family, value system, and all that. Anybody else wants to share? How do you feel about yourself, depending on the year of born and your generation gap, your dealings with your family, people brought up, culture? Are you happy? Do you really find yourself that you're on the edge all the time? We have to be setting our benchmarks with the future people, the kids, and all that. And also, we have to make sure we strike a balance between the older generation also. We don't want to mess up with anybody, right? That's pretty natural for us. All right. Now, obsessive cleaning, we've seen all that. Waking up early is also another syndrome. All right. Now coming to the personalities. Okay. Now, how do we approach this? I'm going to let you know, based on the theory in the Google, from the books, we have found out there are 6 personalities when it comes to time management. I'm going to read out the definitions. What you do is try to understand we might as well do this as a group activity. For every personalities, we would want to take the pros and cons. Let's see, if time permits, we will do that for every personalities. Otherwise, we will do as a whole. What happens when we have this personality in us? How is it supporting and how is it not supporting in our journey? So the first one is the wild procrastinator. If I'm going to let you know the problem first, okay? The problem with this kind of a person is they are indecisive in nature, which means they lack decision-making skills. Because the name itself says that they are wild procrastinator. I don't know, procrastination itself is it's more of a vicious thing, right? And then wild procrastinator, I don't know why they have to name it. Maybe because they are quite easy with procrastination. Then it often deals with things in the nick of time. They always end up doing everything at the last minute. Procrastination has a physical and social toll as your body and your family member or coworker gets stressed out of it. How many people realize that it is true? Is there any more problem associated with this? When it comes to time management, procrastination is one killer. And how do you see that it is occurring in your own life and journey? What are the other problems related to this? One, we lose the sight of that future, or we lose the sight of how important it is for us to complete a task, whether for us or for others around us. It only shows that we don't have that vision to see maybe there are no direction, there are no goals. Or even if the goals are present, why do we still procrastinate what we're supposed to do? And what are the problems associated? Is there any other problem that you think when you were procrastinating, it really bothered you?
I think that we don't at times prioritize the right thing at the right time, and because of which our family too suffers. For example, small examples, I haven't still ordered my baby's face body wash and sunscreen. So every day when she gets ready, I have to struggle with what do I do? Like for her sunscreen, I have to apply the other sunscreen, which I don't want to. Because that's small things, which affects your family. You can do it. It doesn't take time at all from ordering it from Amazon. But for some reason, I didn't do it. I suffered end of the week.
Correct.
Yeah.
And when it's a daily thing, you really feel that just a matter of a minute of work and why it didn't occur to us. And then emotionally also, you feel like sometimes bogged out or feeling helpless or guilty about it. Women has this habit of going on a guilt ride. We end up attaching guilt to everything that we are unable to do. So emotionally also, emotionally, I would rather say emotionally told. Anything else, like financially, yes. If you're unable to, achieve a goal in certain time and way, you will end up spending more, or you might have lost the timeline, so you lost the money there, right? So that could also be some financial loss. But what is the solution for this? Like, is there even a solution? Of course, yes, because we are talking about hacks and techniques. But particularly to this, there's a topic by itself. You would say it's a skill, but it's something that we do it very skillfully. We need to break that. So there is a topic, as we go in the future weeks, there's a topic on procrastination itself, and you will see a lot of books attached to it. So we will do the summary of it, all that. But for now, a little bit, a short crash course on it. You may want to reserve your time for work and start working in small chunks. Because after starting, it's easy to continue. I have realized that. Once you start, especially, I had a break, right? I was struggling to catch up my momentum. The moment I have a schedule, I know even yesterday night around 2 or 3 is when the training got over. And then, in the morning I woke up late, but I ensured that things was taken care. Why did I even show up? Because once it started, it's easy. I mean, it's on my schedule. It's even my family members know that she has a call. So everything is a little bit easy. Okay. Now, there is another concept that we are going to learn today. It's called Zeigarnik effect. Even if you're not able to cover everything today, I'm going to give you that link here. All you have to do is go back and see how this effect is impacting our everyday managing time, everyday productivity, everyday being effective. Because this says that once, not finishing a task is actually creating a mental tension. And that's the only way to alleviate the anxiety by completing what you started. Okay, it's a little contradicting. You may call this. It simply says that once you finish certain things in your to-do task, right? Usually our brain forgets the task. There could be many incidents that I don't even remember what I did in that task, because we are so obsessive in finishing it without having an awareness of what we are doing. It could be daily errands, or it could really be something important. We are unable to recollect maybe the facts in it, the data, dates, the contacts, numbers, or it could be something important to remember. Usually the brain just puts it off. And we will, even in the night, you might have seen, even despite of sleeping on time or late at the night, I sometimes wake up and then add certain to-do tasks. It's crazy for me because my brain is constantly working on the unfinished task. Well, there is a pros and cons towards it. One, that I'm focused, I can call myself focused, but is it really focusing? Because I'm waking up, or when I'm doing the kitchen work, I suddenly remember this. Like, my brain is constantly working. I'm sure it's the same way with any working mothers, or even a normal housemaker. We are constantly putting our brain into work. That is why we get into brain drain very easily. There is also more to it. How is it helping? Now, if you see, people tend to remember incomplete or unfinished tasks better than those which are completed. There is a theory which can have a negative and positive impact on mental health. I want you to go back and see how is it even related to your working style, to your productivity style. How is it not supporting to your style, way of living? Okay. And I will be passing on this information in the group. Now, there is another style called perfectionist. What's the problem with this? Obsessed with your idea of perfection and end up spending too much time on a specific task. It's quite natural. If you are a person who have this pattern, make sure that you are not habitual in it, because breaking open from that, it's difficult. But nothing is difficult if you know the hack, how to come out of it. You may want to attach an accountability partner. It could be your spouse, it could be your child, or it could be people from here. People who attended this call can still be, serving as an accountability partner in certain areas where we want to disclose. But inside family or certain personal things, you may want to include your own family members to have an outsider look. Okay, just to make sure, do you have this habit? Do you easily get into that habit, that pattern? Okay. Then there is always a constant strive to deliver high quality work, but their high standards is actually causing them stress, burnout, feeling overwhelmed, anxiety in the long run. Make sure if you have these symptoms, go back, to the beginning point, step by step, to see where is that actual spot where you're, starting to becoming overwhelmed or feeling that pinch of burning out. Do not go to the extreme of after getting burnt out, you are fully exhausted, you cannot think. I have been in that stage. It is not possible for you to apply your brains after that. Neither will you accept somebody else, telling their observations on you. So make sure that you have this pattern all the time aware. Maybe you want to take a journal to understand your everyday patterns, or you may want to talk it out. You can even record and see how you handle. The best thing is to take a third person's view. You can simply talk to your spouse, you don't have to nearly, the spouse doesn't have to know all this. You just have to initiate a conversation. You know what, I have this problem. I have a feeling of this. Do you really see this is happening in me? Okay, it'll definitely work out. And you missing deadlines, delaying other priorities is a natural consequences because you have this problem of being perfection. Okay, then what's the solution? have achievable standards. Your goals have always, it has to be a SMART goals: specific, measurable, realistic, actionable, and with timelines. Okay, that is SMART goals. There's also smarter goals, which we will get into that topic when you're aligning our values and goals later. So next one is you're getting comfortable with imperfection, for which you need to have a self-compassion. You should not be harsh on you. Doesn't matter. Not everybody are Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. Not everybody is Steve Jobs or Microsoft or Bill Gates to have that creativity all the time. They take a lot of steps for them to attain this stage. They would have taken a lot of effort. Okay, they spend on a lot of things, which is very important. Creativity is another topic which we will see how it is actually helping you become productivity. There you will see all these people giving their way of living. You can do a little bit of research to understand how these people achieve their productivity. How did they overcome all these imperfections in them? Okay, ask one simple question: Am I productive? Am I being productive? When you end your day, just ask yourself, can I get more results with a handful of imperfect tasks? This is my way of asking myself. Okay, now that I want to watch out, if I'm calling myself effective just because I'm ticking few to-do lists, am I really becoming a better version of myself every day? That is something that I'm asking. That includes both my perfection and imperfection as well. Because as a human, we just cannot be perfect all the time. It will only drain you. There is no philosophy behind this at all. So we need to embrace both the perfection and imperfections in us and try to see this as a practice every day. Then it's easy for you to come out of it. Train yourself to do things that fall short of your idea of perfection until you begin to accept that imperfect but functional is enough for most of the things. So I heard this term from my mentor that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to make sure that you are appropriate to situations. Appropriate is just being right. That's it. When I say being right, I attach my values to it. I attach my integrity to it. Am I satisfied? Did I do justice to it? To my fullest capacity, to my fullest potential, to my fullest skills, to my fullest time? That's all is needed. Rest, everybody has their own thing. But what is going to help you reach that benchmark of perfection, or the so-called, I would say, the excellence, instead of using the perfection? Make use of, reframe your mind towards excellence, because excellence comes only with the mission in heart. It doesn't come with, goals. It doesn't come with should. It always comes with mission. I want to. And I will take that. Yesterday's training had a simple example that somebody had a health goal and they want to all the time exercise and make sure they have a perfect shape, but they did not achieve. Why? When they dug deep dive into it, they said to themselves that they should do this. I should be doing this every day. I should do this. I should achieve this. Instead, when we reframe to, I train myself every day walking 5 miles because I want to trek to Mount Kailash. The moment they had, I'm just saying as an example, when I reframe the sentence, instead of I should walk every day 5 miles to make myself equipped to go to certain things or lose my weight, instead you attach a mission towards it. It doesn't matter whether it's a trekking mission or your health goals. It can still be that I want to be beautiful. I want to be attractive. This itself can be a mission. I'm not attaching any words like I should or something which is draining you off. Okay, there's a whole lot of psychology behind it, mindset and all that. But for now, what you have to train yourself is you just have to embrace your imperfections on a daily basis. You need to know what are your imperfections as well. So take a note of both your perfections and imperfections, just 1 or 2 in a day, how much ever you're aware of it. Slowly build on it. You will see naturally you'll be able to overcome your imperfections through your perfections. Then are you an underestimator? We just saw in the few examples that we may be mistaking our time calculation. Often miscalculation, how long it will take for a task to be done is something that we, it's to the point of missing deadlines and having to reschedule is something that we commonly do. But what's the solution for this? And if you are a person who have been doing this constantly, have a look at it. Solution could be simple. You can schedule more time than you expect to finish a task. That could be a simple solution, maybe a few minutes more, but you need to be aware of how much time you actually spent. Okay. Simple things that I do is I don't have tools to schedule my, or track what I'm doing. I simply have the Apple inbuilt tools to track my sleep, track my steps, track my, routine of how much weight I have and all that. I just attach everything to that Apple thing. And I quickly skim through even my social media apps. The inbuilt apps gives me a time limitations. That's good enough. I skim through every day or every other day just to see what's my pattern, simply. And that gives me a rough idea as to how I have to be even more effective by either eliminating or adding. Learn how to work faster and to estimate time more accurately. This is another hack. Suppose this could be an easy example when it comes to kitchen, right? We all start, cooking later point of our life. Okay. In most of our case, we're not ready-made chef when we got married or when we get into a family lifestyle. So we all learn as it goes. So when we start, we were searching for the spices around or, the proportion or the recipe and all that. After a certain time, you may have acquired the skill. You exactly know what proportion, what time does it take to cook and steam and all that. You will be the best judge in terms of getting that desired taste and results, right? That is simply because you have I'm sure you would have seen this pattern. You would have perfected your recipes as the day goes by. That's almost an everyday activity when we are back in India. But would you be able to apply the same awareness in your work, other applications of your life? That is something that you can see. Then you will see that within the stipulated time, given the resources, that's exactly what productivity definition, right? Would you be able to complete the task a little faster than the yesterday? You always have benchmark about your own self. Do not go compete with others. Compare your own self, how you were yesterday, to that of today. That's all you need for you to have a better version of yourself. Then also have a habit of reviewing your past assignments, the duration that you have given good time to estimate what you want to achieve in future time. I'm sure we don't want to spend more time in kitchen, for example. I'm sure we don't want to spend more time on certain transactions that we are really good at, right? In fact, I ask my spouse, just outsource it to me because I'm skilled at it. We don't have to waste our time, resources, money, and all that, right? Because it is important that you are skilled at it and you want to go and learn other transactions where you're not. That is growth mindset, right? But if you're stuck with what you have to do, sometimes you know what? When you move on to other things, you may even have to have a power of delegating it, letting go. That can also be eating up your time. Watch out. You're skilled at something. Okay, you're very good at something. Somebody is outsourced to you. But if you have the power to say no, you may have that awareness to see, hey, look, I'm good at it. I know that. Is it really helping me in my journey, in my goals? If no, then you should be able to outsource or delegate it. Okay, that is also important to save your time. If you do not know how to analyze this, then you're underestimating the given time to you. That's a big culprit. The overcommitted. Certain people have this as well. Most of us have undergone this because we don't have the power to say no. The problem is the person who always says yes to others has a trouble establishing boundaries. I have had this problem. Very recently, I've realized that no, people are overstepping. In fact, I am overstepping my boundaries and I'm also having this pattern of overstepping in other people's boundary. There was a mother who discussed with me yesterday. We were in Taekwondo classes. I had this pattern. Okay, I can see that me talking from her. She says, I have a boy child and I'm not able to stop being a helicopter parent. I'm sure you'll be able to resonate what I'm saying. She cannot stop herself monitoring or, conversing about do this, don't do that. Can you please take care of yourself? There's still time. You can sleep. All that comes from some insecurities in you, or maybe some lack of awareness on your own patterns because you've already gone autopilot in it. You're not able to, that you want to come out of it. It's good that she even termed herself like an helicopter mom, but she doesn't know how to come out of it. You see, awareness has two parts. One, in self-awareness in EQ, we speak about being emotional literate. When I say emotional literate, it also involves the logical literacy, like how emotions is giving you some data points. Okay. Then we also talk about recognizing your patterns. This is also important. Once you know this is wrong, once you know this is not what I want, how do you curb that? Do you even really see what you're doing? If you have that awareness of what you're seeing, that, oh no, this is not what I want to know, this is not what I want to do, then you should be able to curb that. Or you should be able to come back to that stage where you're not switched on like an autopilot and keep going. Okay. That's self-awareness. That comes only with a lot of focus, a lot of efforts that you do consistently. Okay, it's not overnight. I'm telling you, awareness is nothing comes overnight. Okay, they often put other people's priority. You can have a check. Are you doing this mistake? We all have been, nurtured from a culture that we say people around us are important. People are important. Money is different. People are important. So you don't create enmity. It's okay if they do this. It's okay. All these are signs and symptoms of making ourselves, the self-esteem, go lower and lower, and we are creating a bigger boundaries for other people to just step in, because we do not know what are our boundaries. I'm not asking you to set your boundaries and say, you know what, you don't come in this, and I will not come in this. You are not belonging to my circle and all that. Okay, within your own self, you just have to create that proximity level. Okay, and then you will find yourself when you have this boundary. That boundary has to be. You cannot just like that set your boundaries. I'll tell you, because you may find it conflicting with who you are. It is only because you should know your core values. If you do not know what's your core values, what's your code of honor, you cannot really see that this is what you want, and you cannot put boundaries without knowing that. Okay. For example, are you agreeing? I'm just giving you an example. Do you agree sometimes your child coming and telling you a lie? Would you agree? You will say no. In case your core value is honesty or integrity. Everybody has different degree of certain things based on their culture, brought up, and all that. The influences. School could be an influence. Environment. When I say environment, school, friends, neighborhood, movies that we watch, everyday activities that you are involved in, everything has an influence on you. You have to consider everything, and then you have to jot down, okay, this is what is me. I agree this and I don't agree this. Why? Because it doesn't resonate with me. You are in a different vibe. That could be totally different from your own child or your own spouse. That is why there is a conflict. When we are going into the conflict management under EQ, you will clearly see there is no big thing that you have to learn. All you have to know is your own core values and your family values. We have started this exercises where we have arrived at individually our core values, and we are gathering what could be the family core values. So we are seeing the overlapping for all three of us, because I just can't say this is my values and I want to stick with this, because we are living as a family, right? It's a team by itself. Similarly, you want to apply in your work. If you're working as a team has its own dynamics. You have to consider everybody's, and then the company goal. All you have to do is find the overlapping thing and pick up that which is common. According to that, you set your goals. Then it's becoming easy for you to manage your time, your energy, your money, your resources, everything. Okay. Did we see the solution for this? Yes. Stop saying yes. I know it's very difficult, but have this practice of saying maybe yes and no. And then you will see what part of it can you say yes and what part of it can you say no, so that other people can understand and support. If you're not a person who are totally not okay to no, start doing this yes and no habit. Yes, identify your priorities. For you to say yes, you should know your priorities at home, at work, with your environment outside. One thing I realized is I cannot be present in all parties. It's just not possible for a human being to be present at all potlucks, all parties, all gatherings. It's not possible. So it's important to know your priorities, your value system, your family value systems, and then find people like that. Then it is easy for you to, you don't have to be, the world is huge, and you will see, just like how we gave example of Anita or Pooja, anybody, you will find like-minded people coming. The top 4% is what you need. The 20% of 20% is all you need. That's how the family is created. That's how any kind of close friendships are created. Then we will see. But till now, are you with me? Does it resonate with you? Have you been able to find out which part are you falling into? Or do you have shades of all these as well? It's quite possible. What is the most thing that you can resonate? What kind of personalities that you want to resonate with? As I complete the other two, you may want to think deeper. The next one is multitasker. So what's the problem with this? You believe that you can juggle with all multiple things at once, but in reality, you can only handle those incomplete tasks effectively well by being aware of your own mistakes and your skill level. If you're not aware of your own capacity, you will definitely fizzle out. Either you miss your deadlines, or you get burned out, or you have a emotional struggle with your parent, with your family, or within your own self. There could be something conflicting. Okay, it can drain you emotionally, financially, physically. Have a look at it. What could be the problem? And then what's the solution for this? As I already said, there is a backup that we just saw in the previous episodes, that brain itself, neurologically, it is monofocused. Single tasking is best thing. Right now, we are concentrating on learning about this. This is all we can do. But yes, you can look at your gadgets, or you can be fidgety, or you can even cook and, listen. It is possible. But do not think that it is effective. Okay? Apply this, and you don't have to believe me. Apply this and see, where are you deeply focused and where are you shallow focused? And what are the results whenever you are deeply focused, intensely focused? Look at those results. Look at your own version, how you were as a person. And those areas where you were like everywhere, look at your own self, where you calm, where you satisfied, where you happy, where you effective, where you effective for others too. Did they see you as a different person? Did you see you as a different person, or you're getting into a vicious circle again? Is it supporting in your journey? Make sure that you give each task your full attention before moving on to another one. I see this as a problem with my child. I think almost all child have this attention span problem, or this particular problem where, if they don't complete, they get, distracted. There could be many influences around the environment, okay? Especially the digital platforms, and people around them. Friends could be knocking at the door, or they would have some distractions coming here and there. It's quite easy for them to distract. But if they complete one task and move on to another task, versus the child not completing one task and moving on to different tasks at the time, just look at the space around them. Look at the energy in the child. Is it filtered? Is it really focused? No. It's all scattered around. And that is the way their psychic, the mind also works. It is important to complete. And by the way, it has to happen from us first. Instead of giving my child example, when I look at it myself, because I'm able to do this, maybe I'm expecting the child also to do that. Because it is helping me in my journey, I'm sure if she also focused that, it is going to ease her out in our time management. That is the reason, I look that aspect in my child. And when I see the science backup, it is also the same way. That is why the successful people are able to manage so many people around them, so many resources with limited time capacity, because time is common for everybody. Okay, watch out. Are you able to complete one task and move on completely? When I move out of this call, I want to make sure the recording is complete, the desk is intact, because by the time I come back for the next task, it should be allowing me to go to the next task. The transition has to have smoothly. If it is not, then I left something. It's okay. There is an emergency. There is something which is coming up, which is totally fine. When the time is pressing, you can always come back and do. But are you having that awareness to complete this and then move on? That is something that we have to watch out. A classic example is, reading a book. Just imagine if you are a book reader, if you have the habit of reading physical books, you would know what I'm talking about. Unless you want to complete one chapter, you wouldn't move to the next chapter, right? I'm talking about those books that you really want to, find it interesting and you want to keep on going. And you may also want to notice that as a person, when somebody, when my mom looks at me, I'm like, glued to that book. She kind of calls me for lunch or something that I don't want to move away from it. Why? Because I'm so focused. That is called deep focus. And I'm telling you how it has helped. My husband is a book reader too. We don't see that habit coming in my child yet, but I see other child reading a book and I can see how they reflect that kind of a deep focus in other areas too. Pretty calm, pretty, I would say hands-on when they have to deal with certain situation. They are approaching it as a standalone project or standalone problem without any distractions. Even there is a distraction, they are able to stop and look at it and then move on to another one. Okay, these are all the natural habits of your natural consequences when you have a deep focus. These could be reading a book, could be a hack. Okay, this did not happen to me naturally. It is a habit. It is an effort. Okay, when I was also like my child, I don't know. I mean, I get bogged down with words, or those times there's no Google, there's only book. There's a dictionary, thick book my father gave. Nobody was there to explain to me what it is all about. And then I felt like I don't even connect what the book is saying or the article is saying. It took me years to read the newspaper. Newspaper is something that disastrous for me. I mean, it is a phobia for me. It's too much of information. And then I had to narrow down. There's something called Know Your English in Tuesday articles. So I had to literally narrow down and then go for only this small chunk, deeply focus what they're saying, refer to the words what it's not available, and then go and reflect what I learned. Slowly, I went on to a bigger article, and then I started reading magazines, and slowly I started reading books. It takes structure, it takes efforts. Okay. Set aside specific blocks of time for essential functions, that is tasks, and make sure you will not be distracted doing them. The best hack, I'm telling you all these examples based on our previous times, like when we were a child and then pre-pandemic. But post-pandemic, it's totally different. And you don't have to blame yourself because we are in fully distracted world. How do you do this? Then how do we practice this? All you have to do is, I would say, this is what my mentor has told me, this is what I do. When I'm in this call, I literally put, in fact, I have 2-3 mobiles, India, US, and all that. I make sure that they are in airplane mode. Okay. There are 1 or 2 days I would have forgotten that, but it is a practice for me. Whenever I have to do my business, working from home is a little difficult. I mean, it's totally different from going out and work. I mean, not many of my friends advise this, but for me, that's what works out well for me because based on my family goals and restrictions and all that. So when I come here, I make sure I shut my distractions outside the store. When I say shut, I'm okay. I mean, they can come inside, but then they are aware of it. And on my phone, mostly I put everything low or even mute, sometimes airplane mode. When I have to have deep focus on it, airplane mode, do not disturb mode. It's fine. Things can always wait. People can always wait. Situations can always wait. If you are in control of your situation, you are running it. If you don't, then your time is running you. Okay. Then the last one is firefighter. I have been through, most of us have gone through this, especially as a mother. There's constant firefighting, right? When there's a toddler, I clearly know toddler times are extremely firefighting for a lot of reasons. Okay. Health or sometimes financially, sometimes it's a new experience for the mothers, right? Without any support, or sometimes even with support, too many things coming, too many brains working on one situation. We don't know what to act on. So we suddenly take that decision at the last minute and then move on with our own instincts. Or there could be really emergency requirement. But if it's consistent, then that is called traumatic situations. Make sure that you're not in that area because firefighting is not a skill. I'm telling you, it's not a good place to be in. Okay. Burnout can happen very easily without your own awareness. I only pray that nobody should be in firefighting mode consistently. It takes a huge toll on that person and people around them. If you like being efficient, have no problem tackling new problems or emergencies, but feel like everything is an emergency, then you are in this personality. I'll read it again. If you like to be efficient and have no problem tackling new problems or emergency, but feel like everything is an emergency, then you have this personality. It could be that your own syndrome that, I want to finish this. I want to be completing this. Maybe that perfection syndrome hitting, or that's overcommitment hitting, or this multiple tasking syndrome hitting you. It could be many things. Okay. But if it's a real problem, have some compassion towards yourself and others. Deal it with compassion. But if it is not, if it's your own pattern, then you better be, telling yourself all these hacks that we have been discussing, you work on yourself. What's the solution? To avoid the stress of treating everything like a crisis, identify and prioritize your task by urgency and importance. We're going to see that matrix where urgent, not important works, important and not urgent works. There are other 2 categories as well. So we will be doing that exercise in the next coming weeks. If you have that matrix on hand and you're hands-on with that, wonderful. Well, I mean, by now, you know your priorities and you can avoid that firefighting. If you're not, then you might have to learn that and map your priorities accordingly. Then there is another, this is exactly what the matrix name. And this is a strategy that you can help sort out your task based on your urgency and importance. Now, I want you to, as a conclusion, what I'm saying, it may be tempting to blame others when we find the time crunching. The reality is that we spend or waste time it's our own choice. It's our own choice. It is in our hands that we want to do this or we don't want to do this. It is our choice to let the day run us or we run the day. Okay. Learning how to manage your time takes time. Tracking your time, understanding your time management style, developing new habits needs a lot of trial and error. Okay. By concluding what I'm saying, have that compassion in you, the self-compassion. Don't be harsh on you. Now that you got this awareness, I'm sure you cannot unsee. You cannot undo this. Can you? Now that you know who you are, all you have to do is remember one thing in each of these personalities that you want to take away and see that, do you see yourself in this pattern? If you're not able to see, it's totally fine. Have the third-person perspectives or simply take a note of what you're doing. Journaling is the best thing to, record your transactions and see your patterns over a period of time. And make sure that, the takeaways that you've taken, you're going to apply that onto your patterns and reframing it to the new version that you want to see yourself as. Now, I want to ask you, I want to leave the room open to let me know what kind of personality do you want to see yourself, or are you seeing right now? Or do you see shades of everything, or any particular style that your current life is pushing you to be in. There's no mistakes. There is no it's actually, I would say, a lot of us will be in any one of the personalities in many times. Okay, maybe it could be a cyclic event as well, but it's important to be aware of it, and you should know how to come out of it. Can anybody want to share and see how much it is taking shape in your life? Has it really a value add what you have learned? And you cannot unsee after this call today. You may want to see examples in your own life. You may want to observe how your spouse or how your child or your parents or your friends, or even when you're watching movies, you may want to observe these personalities there and see the pros and cons. How is it helping in the journey? In the next 10 minutes, we will wrap up. But before which, I would like to know, your views, if you are with me throughout, and what are your assessment about yourself? This vulnerability will definitely help you reinstate your learnings. This should not be yet another call that you're attending. You should definitely be reflecting in your goals, in your daily tasks, or in the approach that you make with people outside this room. Even when you're conversing with somebody, just see, are you a person who are procrastinating? You always wanted to share something, or you wanted to upfront give a feedback, or do something, and you're not been doing it. Why don't you just do it? Or if you're a person, you always thought that person is stepping onto my boundary, and you're not able to convey that to them, you may want to do that, because you know that they are draining your energy, or they're taking your time and resources, and hence you're not able to commit more than what you want to. Or if you are a person who thought you can do multiple things today, maybe you're effective in doing that. As I already said, you may be skilled, but you want to watch. Is it draining you? Is it making you happy? Is it giving you that bit of energy? Is it building up your energy, or it is just dragging you? Is it building up your the spark in you? It could also be that you're radiating that spark to others. If you do that in a way, is it helping others as well? Which means if you're working as a team, if this is reflected in your personality and then the other person is inspired, then it's easy for all of you to achieve the goals. But if it is not coming within you, you're actually dragging the other people's effort as well. You're actually pulling the vibes of other people as well. Just make sure, even if it's a parenting, make sure that, we should not be the cause of their brain drain, right? Even they have brain drain. Apart from the physical energy that they've got, their brain also drains. All the time saying, no, don't do this, don't do that. Like my other friend said, monitoring all the time also causes them exhausted. Why would you do that? Are you stepping into their boundary that you want to overcome it for them? Or you want to be a multitasker? You know what? I can watch you and then I can do my work as well, because I want to know you're doing it perfect or not. All these syndromes is kicking in. Anybody wants to share so far what you have learned and how has it added value to your journey as we wrap up?
So thanks, Brinda, for sharing so much. There is a lot of things going on in my mind right now, which I'm a mix of many things. I feel like I am a mix of someone who wants to be a perfectionist, but that perfection syndrome is making me the task look much more bigger than what it is, because of which I sometimes end up procrastinating it. And I feel that maybe I am overestimating the time the task takes sometimes. I think that the task will take me half a day, when actually the task, if I start doing it, it might take me just 2 hours or 3 hours maximum, So that is also something I'm going through right now. And the solution to that is I will just start doing it, I'll just start doing it without overthinking it. And I will also achieve a good amount of perfection in that, but I will not overthink about, and I will not spend more than a certain amount of fixed time, what I have estimated for it. So, yeah.
Great sharing, Pooja. Anybody else? Okay, so as you rightly said, it's a combination, it's a mix of all these personalities kicking in us in various times of our life. Even in every day that you can see, a lot of these personalities will kick in different tasks that we want to approach. Just make sure that you do an assessment and you track your patterns today and you work it out. The next class we will see, the next week, we'll see what are the skills that you need to make sure you overcome these problems. So there are a lot of things that we can do, but there are only certain things that we can bring out through these community classes. But it all depends on how you want to absorb and then bring it out. It could definitely be a peer learning. Your perspectives will definitely help me and others. My perspectives, my mind map is going to give you a broader knowledge, but how you want to reflect in your life is what is going to establish your learning capacity, what you've been doing this for the past 1.5 hours. Okay. And slowly we will move into focus, other skills of productivity as well. In large focus, concentration, I was talking about deep focus, shallow focus and all that. We'll see attention span. There's also something called attention management. That's at one level deep. Okay. So we are seeing productivity, time management, focus, and attention management. And under that, how do we attain this attention management or defocus is because when we need to have a discipline in us. And then how will we get the discipline? Only when we are motivated, inspired to do something. And then how do we do that? Only when we know what is important and what is urgent in us. And then how do we prioritize? Only when we have the skill of organizing. You see how everything is related and how everything is structured. Then if this kind of a structured learning goes into you, it's easy for you to apply. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you in the next week with different topics under the time management. It'll be great if you can share your learnings in the group and inspire others. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend till we meet next week.
Thank you so much, Brinda.
Thanks,
This was
Brinda.
very
Thanks a
insightful
lot.
and very helpful.
Great, Anita.